Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time we're reviewing on Iron Man issue 225 Armor Wars. Now, I think a lot of Iron Man fans or Marvel fans know what the Armor Wars were. It was a crazy story involving stolen armor specs and Iron Man having to try and get them back. Now, the cover we have is Iron Man in his silver and red armor, while other villains like Controller, Titanium Man and all that look on. So let's get on the story. It starts off with Iron Man in his armor while being seeked down by missiles and single-handedly takes them down. And he's like, 5 out of 5, mission accomplished. How was that practice run, General? Spectacular, Iron Man. Combined with that tank pull stunt you worked out. And so Iron Man flies back, and him and Rhodey talk about all the results and their plans. And Tony Stark quickly gets changed back into his outfit. Well, General's like, "Where are the test results, Mr. Stark?" "Behind expectations, sir. I think I can safely say that your superiors will be delighted." "Exactly." And then you got Tony Stark with green hair. I mean, seriously, are we in DC now? Is he becoming a Joker? And he's like, "You're a sweetheart for being so patient, Shannon. Now, how about that lunch I promised you?" "Love it." And so he goes for lunch. And afterwards, Tony looks at the suit on one of his villain's armor. He's like, "Oh my god, it is! It is! What the hell's that noise coming from? It sounds like someone's tearing the wrap apart." And you got Tony Stark ripping apart. Now, it is changed a bit because in the Iron Man cartoon, it was Crimson Dynamo's armor he found out. In this comic, it's meant to be Forge or Shockwaves. He's like, "It's here, everywhere. I know it is. I've got to find it." And I'm surprised that Rhodey isn't, trying to go in that quickly to stop him. He's like, "No, I've got to find it. I've got to destroy it." And so he does it now. And he's like, "I think maybe you've destroyed enough for one day. Come on now, ease up. Ease up! Ease up!" And so he realizes that Rhodey's right. And he explains that one of the armor specs had his armor designs. I'm actually surprised Tony didn't have any failsafes in his designs or anything else. And he's worried that other villains may have also had the armor specs. He even thinking that others like Beetle, Shockwave, Doctor Doom, Controller, the Molar, Crimson Dynamo, Stilt Man, Professor Power, Titanium Man, and the Raiders, and the list goes on. It's like, how many? How many have drawn blood with the sword? And so meanwhile, while Tony mainly leaves in a huff, while Rhodey and one of the people that were talking to him just worry about him. And so mainly Stark talks with one of his employees and even wants to find out who's been supplying Hammer. "I have no idea. He's got them, but thank you, Clay, that's all." And so Iron Man gets back to work and then goes back to the test site to try on this old tank pull stunt. And remembers how in Vietnam he was injured, became Iron Man, wanted to start making weapons for Stark Industries, even joining the Avengers, and over the years building his iron armors. And pretty much destroys 2 tanks. He's like, "Awesome, shellhead! What a show! What the devil happened? Sorry, General, I was, all that stuff. And so Tony Stark decides to go to a movie afterwards with one of his dates. After watching a movie and seeing people get hurt, he's realizing that, okay, this kind of reminds me too much of what my situation is. And so Tony leaves and goes for a walk to clear his head. And even Iron Man talks with one of the former villains, Clay, who we seen a few panels ago, asking him how many people did he kill, which is kind of a dick thing for Tony to do. I mean, he had turned his life around, and you should know that he stopped being this way. And Tony realised it was a bit of a low blow. So afterwards, Tony and the others talk about what they're going to do. And Tony talks with his secretary. And we've also got Scott Lang and his daughter, where Tony Stark needs Scott Lang's help. And in dealing with what's going to be happening. Now, it is changed a bit because Scott Lang was never used in the Iron Man TV show. And instead, it was Homer. Not Homer Simpson, but his IA system, similar to Jarvis. So they fly into a computer company to find out any of the armor specs. And find out who's behind all this. And they find out it was Spy Master. Which has changed from in the TV show to Ghost. So Tony Stark talks with the board of directors about saying, the technology in question is mine. And I want it back. I want you to do everything in your power to use every legal trick. And mainly Tony Stark decides to deal with the Iron Villains himself, like Titanium Man saying, I don't know why I'm bothering to scan for alarms. Why, who'd take baton against a break-in? 7 stories high, which makes Steelman so successful. He's like, oh, that was a sucker punch, Tin Man, but it didn't hurt my hygrogenic legs. And so he tries to make a break for it, which has actually changed a little bit because Iron Man just did it right where the building is. And he puts a Devastator pack on Titanium Man and stops him. And afterwards, Iron Man talks with him, saying that, sorry, it's not better used, Mr. Stark, but our main source of evidence is that Transcorp computer file. And the judge determined that it was obtainably illegal, and it, therefore, and all that. So Iron Man decides to get back into action, and heads to where a spa-like area is, which has changed a little bit to the split spa in the Iron Man TV show. And turns out that Iron Man has to deal with the controller, saying, welcome, Iron Man. I assure you one of your promised word slaves would locate me eventually. And so they start ganging up on him, and he realises that the discs are killing them. And this has caused Iron Man to beat the merciful crap out of him, and put a Navigator pack on him, which has changed from outside the beach or the split spa and that. So afterwards, they talk with him. Afterwards, one of his lawyers talked with him, saying, my team has made a case for your civil rights behind violation of the theft of your invitation. We can't link the robberies to Mr. Hammer. He's too well covered. And he points out as well that the rights and all that are going to be difficult to do. And Iron Man is pissed off. And he's like, please leave, Mr. Rindle. Sir, get out. And so Tony Stark decides to take matters into his own hands, now undoubtedly causing problems. So the story, the first issue, is actually pretty good. It shows that actions have consequences, and Tony's armor and his actions for making it are his own consequences, and he's going to have to take a lot of effort to try and stop this. So I give the comic a good thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.